Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Janices and welcome back to Racer or Random SCP Review. Um, we discussed about or review about SCP-4909 in the part 1, and there's a lot of stuff over there, right? We only covered a little bit of that. Therefore, in this one, if we can, we will actually go through all of these, and we will actually give our final review, right? So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. So to recap, 4909 is you can say it as a biome, right? Like a underwater biome or a sea biome in Indian Sea, and it's located like just about 50 kilometers to the south of Sri Lanka, which is in the south of Asia. So yeah, there's that. Um, Inside 4909, there are three another 4909 dashes, right? So 4909 dash 1 is an octopus, which is innocent, I guess, but they are sapient, and then they are also, I guess, sentient as well, like because they can think and they believe, right, that their existence there in 4909 is actually to protect 4909, basically to protect the biome, right? So yeah, there's that. And then 4909-2 is the ink that the octopus excrete. For what again? The purpose of that? I'm not entirely sure. Um, it's they just constantly excrete that, right? Like the color is yellow. Um, not black like general or generic octopus that we all know, right? Which increase not increase like excrete black ink, right? And in this one, it's actually yellow, and this is designated as SCP-4909-2. So dash one is octopus, dash two is the ink. What dash three is, we're not sure. We haven't reached that part just yet. So yeah, if outside forces attempt to remove an individual from 4909, Dash 1 will react violently using its tentacles to lash and constrict the forces responsible until they are neutralized or relinquish the individual. During this attack, Dash 1 will broadcast multiple telepathic messages to all individuals within a wide area, which rapidly leads to migraine, headaches, and confusion. Oh, interesting. So like basically they are screaming, right? They're screaming for help, and however, since they can talk, they use telepathic. Then every other living organism that can accept or receive that broadcast, quote unquote broadcast, will feel the pain as well, right? The headache and confusion. Okay, that's actually interesting. So now we know that Dash One or the octopus actually wants to live there, right? And they, again, like because they think that they are the guardian or the protector of the biome, so they only want to be there, right? They don't want to go other place else. So yeah, interesting. Individuals already residing in 4909 have not been known to leave of their own volition, presumably due to both the certainty of drowning outside 4909 as well as the effects of 4909-2. Okay, interesting. Um, so we know that if you are in 4909, you can actually breathe, right? You can actually breathe underwater, if I get it correctly. Therefore, maybe they are afraid that they live that they will die. That's another this one, right? That they are actually thinking, right? Which is different from what I thought, because I thought that because it's their mindset, basically they don't want to live, right? They want to live there and they don't want to live, basically. They want to live but they don't want to live. So yeah, um that's why they because of that, right? Because of that thoughts that they think that they are the guardian, therefore they don't want to live, basically. Okay, interesting. SCP-4909-1 seems to bring individuals to SCP-4909, although the means by which it does so has yet to be observed, as the number of individuals inhabiting 4909 has not increased since entering Foundation custody. The majority of individuals observed to inhabit 4909 belong to ethnic groups present in various countries bordering the Indian Ocean. Okay. Yeah. Uh, I don't know what individual means. Is it like a person or any other living organisms, right? Who knows? SCP-4909-2 acts as a potent sedative and antidepressant, as well as a source of essential nutrients capable of sustaining every nutritional requirement of human physiology. It is non-toxic and can be ingested in large quantities without any observable detrimental effects. The ingestion of 4909-2 by 4909 inhabitants is believed to explain the lack of -2 pollution in the surrounding ocean. Further documentation regarding -2's properties can be found in document -2-1 level 4 clearance required. Okay, so -2 is the ink, -2-1 therefore is the document of that, right? In here anyway. Okay, so chemical structure, looking at the picture, chemical structure of -2, non-redacted version available in document -2-1. Interesting. So here, I studied about chemical engineering, right? Here, what I see is hydrocarbon. This one is complex because everything is connected, right? So this is actually one full structure, and then the ring over here, the hexagon and the circle, the hexagon ring. This is actually benzene. Um, which is the basically with all the branches, this is all derivatives of benzenes, right? And then we see OH over here, the extension, which is alcohol, and then OCH3. This is ether, I think, like ether, and then so this basically benzene and ether, right? So it's um benzyl ether or something like that, right? So or methyl ether benzene, benzene or something like that, right? um and then I can also what else over there? um okay, I didn't see anything else that interesting apart that all of this is actually hydrocarbon molecules. So there is nothing else. Oh, interesting. There is actually a dash dot 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 over here. It means that this will repeat to something else, potentially repeating itself, right? Because the thing is not just this. There is actually millions of these structure, right? Or even more, right? That construct the whole ink, right? Or the substance, right? So yeah, the dash dot 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 over here is basically this will connect to something else, right? Which is in this case is not that important. So it's just for the binder or the binding of this structure over here, I guess. Um, so yeah, there is no other like halogen like chloride molecules, I guess. Over here I didn't see anything, not even fluoride, so this is just pure hydrocarbon molecules. It's just carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. At least what it's over here, right? There's this censored part. Hopefully we can get what these are in this document probably, and see if there is actually something else over here, right? Like maybe an inorganic compound as well, right? So this, if we look at this is hydrocarbon, but maybe there is like an inorganic over there, then this will be more complex than just simple hydrocarbon structure, right? So yeah, individuals exposed to -2 enter a euphoric, often lethargic state. Various chemical treatments, including reducted, have been successful in alleviating the effects of -2 on individuals retrieved from 4909, though symptoms of depression have followed in um, one digit of the one digit cases recorded to date. Okay, let's say 6 of the 9 cases recorded to date, right? Okay. SCP-4909-3, okay, here we go, is an object resembling a submarine. Oh, interesting. So, there's also a submarine over there, located within a cavern, near the western border of 4909. Okay, to the west. Its dimensions are roughly 5.5 meters, 2.5, and 3 meters. Okay, so 5.5 by 2.5 by 3. It's actually not that big. 5.5 by 2.5 by 3, this is a room, basically the volume of a room. So yeah, a room with 5.5 width and then 3 meters long, or I guess 3 meter width, 5.5 long, or actually no, usually it's long, width, and then height, right? So yeah, this is the 5.5 is the length, and then 2.5 is the width, and then 3 meters is the height, right? So yeah, it's basically a room. um, it is colored yellow and white and does not resemble any currently existing submarine design, as its hull appears to be made of a single mass with no seams of any kind. Um, so it's just like a capsule, right? There is no seams of any kind. Okay, it is made of a material similar to steel, but appears to be indestructible. Okay, vibranium. Sounds of raucous laughter and noises similar to those made by deep sea vehicles can be faintly heard from within its hull. Dash 1 claims to have no knowledge of Dash 3 outside of its existence. Oh, interesting. I thought that they actually know about this as well, but apparently not. So, the octopus doesn't actually know what the submarine is about. Okay, so if you have to ask me, I would say that Dash 3 is probably a random vehicle. Um, before the SCP came, right? It was wild in the nature, right? Therefore, I think what happened was that a submarine or a random submarine entered this 4909, and unfortunately, they got trapped there like forever, basically, right? Um, so yeah, I guess there's that. Because we know back up here that they try to guard the area, right? So I think what happened here is that there was actually a submarine that got in there and they cannot escape, right? So yeah, there's that. Also, there's a cavern as well. But how did they go to the cavern? What I'm imagining is that I think the submarine enters that, and then they just see lots of vines, right? Therefore they try to leave the area. But then again, we know over here that anything that's already in 4909, the dash one or the octopus will not let them leave, right? Therefore, I think happened over here is that the submarine tried to escape, but the dash one didn't allow them to leave, right? Therefore they grab the ship or the submarine, and then with their tentacles, and then they drag them to this cavern, right? So yeah, there's that. um that's my theory. However, it is mentioned over here that this one also doesn't have knowledge about this, right? Outside of its existence. So my theory is kind of got debunked instantly, because here we know that Dash 1 didn't know that uh, Dash 3, right? They didn't know the origin of Dash 3. They just basically aware that it is there, but they don't know why they are there, right? So yeah, interesting. I mean, my theory is kind of interesting as well, though. Like like a submarine got trapped, and then the octopus didn't let anyone leave. Therefore, they grabbed them and put them in the cavern, right? Which just makes sense, but that's not the case over here apparently. So there's that at least. Okay, interview 4909-1. The following interview was obtained from, okay, the first individual successfully retrieved from 4909 shortly after being taken to SCP-S-215. Okay, so this one is the SCP ship. 215 is the serial code of the ship. Medical bay. Dialect translated to English from Hindi. Oh, oh yeah, that makes sense because it is located to the south of Sri Lanka, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, or whatever you want to call that, right? To the south of South Asian. Therefore, it just makes sense that the people who are there actually is natively Indian, right? Therefore, they speak in Hindi, right? Yeah, it actually makes sense then. Okay. Begin log something something 20 something 1:12 p.m. This is basically 1 p.m. In the afternoon. Okay. Agent Nanda Siri. Oh, from the name as well. This one is like Indian name as well, right? Um, okay, she's okay enough, right, doctor? I want to record this for the files. Sounds of violent struggle and metallic clanging. Okay, like cling clang cling clang. Okay. Um, Dr. Roberts, yes, just be quick about it. Unintelligible. We'll have to put her under soon. Something. Okay. Okay. So the first individual successfully retrieved from 4909. So this is basically a person that got saved from 4909, right? Okay, this name over here. Bastards, take me back, take me back. Can you please tell us about that place, the one we just rescued you from? Okay, so okay, first knowing this line over here, what I'm interpreting this is that the person, because they are under the effect of dash 2, right, the ink that will give them the euphoria effect, right, they are mad because they feel the dash 2 wears off, right, therefore they always want to come back there just for the euphoria effect from the ink or the dash 2, right, and that's why they want to take them back, right. So yeah. Also, it's a she apparently because she said her, or Dr. Roberts said her. So I guess I would just refer her as a she or her from now on, right? Okay. Um, you didn't goddamn rescue me. Okay? Why can't you take me back? Okay. It's sure as well, right? Because this she wants to go back for more of the euphoria effect from the ink potentially, right. We suspect you were being held captive by that entity, the octopus. What can you tell us about the octopus? I wasn't a captive. It kept us happy and safe. Can you take me back where I came from? Yeah, okay, over here, right? I guess this also uh, basically what happened to people that got addictive to certain chemicals as well, right? Just like in real life, like if you're smoking, you just feel the calmness from smoking, right? Therefore, if someone or some foundation try to take that away from you, then you will be mad about it, right? Which is reasonable. I guess that's the same over here as well. I can also make the same analogy for illegal drugs, but like I didn't want to get trouble just for mentioning that. Therefore, you got the point, right? So yeah. Okay. I have to put her under. Okay. Extraneous dialogue expunged. Okay. It's probably keep raging, saying, saying, yeah, like swearing and stuff, right? Okay. And log 1:13 p.m. Oh, okay. That's weird. The whole thing only lasts for 1 minute. Okay. So basically, all of them says this all of this within 1 minute, which is interesting because 1 minute is actually quite, like it's just a moment, right? It's 60 seconds, so it's only 1 minute. It's actually quite very short. So by that case, we know that this whole thing, like this interview went on very very quickly, right? It's just 1 minute, and this person over here is already been like in their mad states, right? Or a rageful state, basically. So yeah, addendum. After a successful regimen, entered a stable mental. Okay, so there's five words over here, right? So the girl or the female name is five letters. So I guess uh, let's see. Can I actually came up with Indian name, five letters? Okay, that will be um I guess I don't know uh I don't know. I cannot make any name that sounds Indian with only five letters. I'm thinking about the series Miss Marvel and think about any characters that has five letter name. But I don't find any. Okay. Maybe Beta, but that's four letters, I guess, with an H, I guess, like Bet Betha, I guess, but I don't know. Like, I also can think about Saras as well, like Saras. I don't know. Um. Anyway, yeah, that's difficult to think about. Let me know if you're Indian or came from Indian. Give me a random female name. That is characterized as an Indian, like from the name, oh, this person is Indian by the name, right? Um, which is interesting because here in my country you can actually kind of tell where they come from, from the name, especially if this is like from a cultural name, right? Like it is like name from your family tree, basically, right? Knowing that name, you can kind of tell where this person came from in the region in my country, right? I don't know if this is also a thing in South Asia, like as in culture, like having names that is about family name, right? And then just by hearing the name, you can tell that, oh, this person is probably from the family tree in a certain region, right? Which is interesting. Okay. Report 1485 dash something to site 68, director something. Oh, 68. Oh, interesting. We know that the previous SCPs was in site 17, so this one is site 68. Okay, name Dr. Julian, four letters. Julian Hobbs, probably, right? I don't know, or Julian Hobbs. Date something something 20 something. I don't know, like April 3rd, April 3rd, 2017. I don't know. Assignment SCP-1485, London area. Okay, 1485. This one is SCP-4909 though. Why is 1485 over here? Reporting non-standard inconsistency between SCP-1485 and baseline. I've only assigned here for a week and I've already noticed a glaring inconsistency in 1485 version of Earth. 1485 has innumerable records of an influential 60s rock band called the Beatles. A good 90% of 1485 inhabitants I've interviewed are familiar with the name. Out of curiosity, I asked Dr. In 1485 Moscow to do similar interviews, and even he reported a significant number of confirmations. How the heck is it possible that we have known about this place for uh, 327 years and never noticed this? Okay. Following doctors, Abra's report, it was discovered that there is no evidence of the Beatles in baseline Earth. Um, okay. Um, why is it? Oh, okay, okay. So this is still connected because I saw 4909 down here. Okay, let's just continue. Following Dr. Abra's report, it was discovered that there is no evidence of the Beatles in baseline Earth. I mean, no records of band members Oh my god. Peer. Um. Ma. Mas. Doctor Peer. Michael. Mm, Marrington. Band members Peer Marrington. What I'm doing. Okay, John Lennon, okay, the Beatles, John Lennon, okay, so I know that, right? Okay, first thing first, I'm sorry for all the Beatles fans out there. Don't know any name of them. I just made out name out of my mind, right? So it might sound funny, but it is just how it is. I don't know any member of Beatles, okay? Um, uh, Gerald, um, ha, ha, Gerald Hereford or Richard as Richard Stewart exist, okay? Although normal records exist for each of their parents and spouses, as well as other miscellaneous individuals associated with the band, such as, Brick Edmund, Gerald, uh, Gerald, Gerald Mannon, I don't know, and Gerald E. Edward, okay. Musical innovations attributed to the Beatles in SCP-1485 are instead attributed to various other artists from the 60s and 70s, including Redacted. Further research revealed that 4909 and 4909, the biome and destry, which is the people, bear a beyond. Oh no, Destry is the submarine. Bear a beyond coincidental similarity to lyrics contained in the Beatles songs Octopus Garden and Yellow Submarine, respectively. Oh, I see. Okay, it's all coming together now. Uh, so I was wrong then. The previous part, the first part, actually, I theorized that they actually got the name, not got the name, they got the reference from Minecraft, right? Via the breathing underwater using kelp and magma blocks, right? Apparently that's not that. This is actually got its reference from the Beatles, okay, because of the song, which is Octopus Garden, which is the name of this SCP, right? And Yellow Submarine, which is the color of the submarine, right? Yellow and black stripe, I guess, if I remember correctly. Okay, so yeah, so with all these members over here, right? Um, I guess there's that. Now I know where it's reference from. So yeah, I apologize for you guys that actually already know from the word Octopus Garden, right? So this is basically the Beatles song, which I was not familiar with. Therefore, I didn't get the reference at the first, at the first time knowing it. So yeah, attention, the document you are reading is outdated. Please refresh the few updates. Okay, this one we already got. By that I mean we already open this, right? So I guess this is for dramatic purpose then. Yeah. Item SCP-4909, object class Kidder or Cadder or Kidder, okay? So it's Kidder, now it's Kidder, right? Not Euclid anymore. Special containment procedure. Research is ongoing regarding the extent of 4909's effects. Mobile Task Force MTF Omega 9 Lonely Heart Club has been organized to attempt to locate 4909 or its point of origin. Use of experimental portable Scranton reality gauge has been approved. I don't know what this Scranton reality gauge means, but basically they are, they know that the effect of this biome, right, extends basically. Yeah, like regarding the extent of this one's effect, right? So they kind of try to pinpoint the center of this area and then therefore they can make the radius of the place, right? Yeah, I guess the Scranton Reality Kit is about if I have to take a guess, I think it's a tool that can say that um, that can basically say that is this place over here um, has anomalous property or not, right? So because of reality, right? Like, is it it does it have different reality than normal Earth reality? I guess that's what it is. If I have to take a guess, right? Which I was probably very very wrong, and yeah, there's that, I guess. Um, Scranton Reality anchors have been erected around Site 68's documentation storage. Regular checks must be made to both said documentation and SCP-1485 historical record to determine if a deviation in baseline reality from 1485 occurs. In this case, global efforts must be made to ascertain the location of any new anomalies. Okay, so we know again that 4909 has like a red thread to 14 SCP-1485, right? I don't know what 1485 is, but you have to take a guess. It must have been something to do with the Beatles, right? Maybe a record of the Beatles. I don't know, right? So yeah, there's that. Description: 409 is a phenomenon by which concepts, historical events, and/or people, most especially ones prominent in popular culture, are retroactively removed from the current timeline and converted into anomalous objects or phenomenon. It is believed that the historical restructuring caused by 4909 will make it so these objects have existed, possibly already in containment for any given amount of time. Um, okay, so phenomenon removed from current timeline, converted. Okay, so 1485 is probably like a lost the Beatles, probably something to do with the Beatles is something lost, right? And then 4909 is here to basically answer the right, like to answer that a piece of the Beatles is doesn't exist, at least in this timeline, and however, um, it still exists but in literal place, right? Which is the Octopus Garden, and there is also Yellow Submarine, right? That's why it converted that into anomalous objects, which is the submarine, and phenomenon, which is the biome itself, right? So we might so basically in this timeline we don't have the Beatles, but we do have what something the Beatles created, right? Which is the Octopus Garden and Yellow Submarine, which comes in real objects, right? Which is the biome and the submarine, which is interesting. Okay, I guess that's about it, right? It is believed that the historical restructuring caused by 4909 will make it so these objects have existed, possibly already in containment, okay, for any given amount of time. Yep. The nature of 4909 is unknown, though evidence suggests that a Redshift class reality bender is most likely responsible. This entity is most likely unaware of the Foundation or its assets, given the Foundation's continued existence. In the event that a reality bender fitting this description is not found by and 4909 persists, the O5 Council has approved the use of extreme measures to mitigate 4909 effect, including using something, right? I understand. Oh, maybe it's using anti-memetic hazard, probably. I understand this is a typical criticism of anyone with as many years in the Foundation as me, but is it not possible we're overreacting here? What if this whole thing is the one anomaly in 1485? What if SCPs that exist in our world have an extremely small chance of retroactively becoming pop culture in 1485? Why assume it's the opposite, Doctor something? If we assume the nicer and more comforting possibility every time we had something we didn't understand, we wouldn't be the SCP Foundation, and baseline probably wouldn't exist right now. The procedure stands. Okay. 4909-1. The following anomalous items have been determined to be results of 4909 using 1485 as a means of identification. SCP, okay, there's a lot of them. SCP something, formerly 4909. Okay. SCP-4930. Oh, interesting. This leads to another SCP as well. And there you go over here. Footnotes 1. The contents of said messages often prove difficult to recall due to their overlap, though numerous affected staff have testified hearing the phrase, "Where would you want to live?" Okay. 2. Research also revealed that the item designated SCP-43 was unassigned, with no member of staff able to explain why this number has not been used. Okay. Um. Okay. SCP-43 is unassigned. That's new to me, I guess. I thought that any SCP that's in Series 1 already got filled, but this one is not 43. I might have to take a look at 43 after this, right? Okay, so yeah. Where would you want to live? I think this one is possibly one of the lyrics from the Beatles song, potentially, because they hear this phrase, right? Why would you want to live? Maybe it's a part of the lyrics, right? And then for 930 is probably something else that's in here, right? And then all of this stuff is probably more stuff regarding this, right? So what I'm thinking is that 4909 is basically a thing that can make basically this paragraph over here, all right? Like what if this whole thing is the one anomaly in 1485, right? Because I don't know what 1485 is. Maybe it is something big, right? And then it gets too big to be explained. Therefore there is this SCP over here, right? 4909, which is this basically, right? The Octopus Garden, which contains the yellow submarine, right? Which is over here, formerly SCP-4909. And therefore, there is other stuff over here. I guess this is basically the author or the creator of this SCP basically says that maybe they want to make more SCPs that can be connected into this, right? So, without any proper background of these SCPs, I cannot say anything about it, right? Because I'm not a library. I don't know any of the SCP. I don't know any of them. There is just too many SCPs, right, to be remembered. Therefore, having this SCP that we read over here that refers to a lot of SCP, basically I'm saying that it's actually not right. It doesn't feel right to actually read 4909 first because we don't know the reference to other SCP, right? Like, there is 1485, obviously, and then there is 4930, which I don't know what that is, and then 4909, which is this one, and then SCP-43 as well. And then there is, I think there is something else as well, right? Like, I think, no? Okay, I thought I saw some other SCPs as well, but yeah, there's many other SCPs referring to this, right? Like, again, 1485, 43, 4930, right? And yeah, I guess I had to actually read that first, right? Before actually knowing what this whole SCP means. But um, overall I like this one. This one is kind of similar to the Atohalan one because the Atohalan is the one, the museum basically, right? The glacial cave that has that basically is some sort of museum, right? Which is a copy or a duplicate of other SCPs, right? Which is interesting. Again, I didn't know any other SCPs over there as well, right? This one is here as well. It's basically the same, probably. Like, they're probably like still in the same group of SCPs, right? That refers to each other, right? That if you want to know about SCP-1485, then you need a piece of 4909 and 4930 probably, right? Just to complement the whole group, right? Like basically like the connection tied to that SCP is over here, which is interesting, right? So yeah, overall this one is interesting, the same as Atohalan. And then because this one also has reference to the Beatles, which I'm not familiar with. Therefore, I didn't get it the first time, right? Because of the Octopus Garden and then the Yellow Submarine, right? Which is the two like obvious phrases that can be referred to the Beatles, right? Especially if you are a big fan of the Beatles, right? Hearing the name or the word Octopus Garden and Yellow Submarine, you probably already know that it has to do something with the Beatles, right? Which is interesting. I didn't understand the conclusion of this, you know, like uh, this document is outdated, right? Please refresh to this, and then this is basically they know more about this, right? They know more that 4909 basically has a connection to 1485, right? But they are still not sure what it is. Like this one, right? Over here, and then over here as well, right? Basically says that it has connection, and but they are still not sure what it means, right? So yeah, there's that. Um, uh, if you have to ask me, I guess I would. Yeah, this one has a rating of 11, right? Which is lower than the previous SCP that we read. Which is again, if I have to rate this, I probably will not rate that high because there's still so many missing pieces over here, right? You know, if you have to ask me, like someone asks me, what is 4909? Then I will just simply answer 4909 is basically an octopus garden. What does that mean? Well, it is a biome to the south of South Asia, in Indian Sea, where if you enter that, you will not be able to live because you are under the effect of um, an ink, some sort of ink that is provided by the octopus, right? And the octopus doesn't want you or doesn't want anyone entering that to live. Therefore, you are basically trapped there forever. And you cannot really die because you can actually breathe underwater there, and then you can also get lots of nutrients from the surrounding from the ink as well. So yeah, there's that, and that's about it, I guess. Like if someone asks me about 4909, and I will not give more explanations about the connection with 1485. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is that um if 4909 for its own is a standalone, then I'm fine with it. But since it also connects to something that I don't understand at all, therefore I got confused, right? So, I would like this if it's standalone. I would probably less like it, since it is again connected to other SCP. The difference from SCP Atohalan is that there it's kind of explained what the SCPs in the quote unquote museum is, right? We know Abel, right? I managed to guess that it was Abel or Cain, right? It's either Abel or Cain, which is a duplicate of that, right? Which is the SCP either 63 or 73, right? I forgot, but yeah, it's that. It's actually kind of mentioned over there, right? Like it kind of got described a little bit. So, if you have to make connection to other SCPs, my suggestion, I guess, is also to kind of put some descriptions for that SCP as well, like SCP-1485. What is that, right? What is that SCP, right? Just mentioned over here a little bit, right? Um, so yeah, I guess there's that. Because again, I'm saying that because I'm saying this in the point of view of new people or newcomers that actually read all these SCPs, right? So yeah, if you give this to other people, then they don't understand, right? Because it has to have something to do with 1485, 4930, SCP-43, and so on, right? And it's not described over here what they are, so it will be more difficult, right? However, if you only put it as 4909 as the biome itself as a standalone SCP, then other people will actually be more interested in reading this, right? Because they know, oh yeah, oh interesting, because this is a biome, right? Um, there is an octopus, and then the octopus doesn't want to leave this and doesn't want anyone that is in there to leave. Therefore they excrete the inks, which basically cause everyone there to get hypnotized to always be there, right? So yeah, that's about it. And end of story, right? Which is interesting in itself. With this connection, it's great, but it's not great for new people, right? So yeah, there's that. Uh, it's different from Atohalan again. Atohalan is also the same like this, which is basically a museum of duplicates of SCPs, right? But they, again, I have already said this many times, they described it a little bit, right? Where here it is not. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult to understand. Okay, so there is this one as well, document 4909-2-1, which we don't have access in, therefore we can't really show this, right? Like, I don't know what this is about, right? But if I have to take this full thing and then put it in Google image, probably this is certain chemicals that's already existed, right? So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I didn't see any 4909-2 over here. There is no other place that I can tap or click, I guess, that gives this kind of thing over here. There is nothing else. It just ended in interview one, right? Or addendum one, I guess. Interview 4909-1. There's nothing about 4909-2-1, which is the document of these chemicals, which is unfortunate because I'm actually quite interested to see more of this. But anyway, I think that will be it for today's episode of Random SCP Review or Racer. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will see you again in the next episode of Racer, in the seventh SCP, I think, right? Yeah, because this is the no, this is the seventh one, so the eighth one, right? The eighth SCP basically in the next one. So yeah, until then, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you again very very soon, and see ya.